For years now, Morgan Creek has been trying to get a biopic of Tupac Shakur off the ground with little success. Up to now, directors such as Carl Franklin, John Singleton, and Antoine Fuqua all boarded the project at one time or another, and all eventually dropped out, with Singleton himself saying the people involved aren't really respectful of the legacy of Tupac. Time is now running out as Morgan Creek will lose the rights to Tupac's music if a film isn't in production by the end of the year. Now it's being reported that Morgan Creek is looking at signing music video director Benny Boom to get the process moving. Mark, at this stage in the game, buy or sell that Morgan Creek will get a Tupac movie in production by the end of the month?
Well, unfortunately, I am going to buy this because I think they're so dedicated to making something with Tupac's music, and if they have to do that by the end of the year, I think it's going to happen. Not the way I want to see it, and clearly not the way John Singleton saw it. I trust John Singleton a lot more than most people in Hollywood. I mean, he is way up there because he's he cares about the material he's making, and he treats it with care. I don't know who Benny Boom is. I'm sure he's made great music videos, but I don't want to see this particular. I don't want to see a rushed Tupac biopic. I want to see it taken the care that it deserves, and I don't think it's the way it's going, but I do think it'll be in production.
Schnapp?
Yeah, I'm guessing it will be in production. Especially if it's a rights issue. Like, you have to have started filming the very first scene on December 15th. They're going to shoot something. Whether they use it in the film or not, the principal photography has started on the Tupac, biography. They're gonna do that and then resume working on the script in January. It's one of those things where it's like you just have to show that you've started production, and then you can chill out for a year. They could switch directors if they have to. I'm sure, like you said, I'm not familiar with Benny Boom's discography or his work as a videography. But I'm sure it's good enough to put him in the running along with Singleton and Franklin, all these other big heavies. So I just don't want them to use the Tupac 3D hologram in the movie. That's all I'm asking. Don't use that.
Along co-starring CGI Yoda.
Yeah,
right beside him. Apparently.
Move.
I mean, look. Here's the thing. A Tupac Shakur movie has to happen. And if it didn't already have to happen, and has had to happen for a long time, then Straight Outta Compton just puts an exclamation point on it that you need to make this movie. You have to make this movie. But it says something unfortunate when you go from having directors of the caliber of a John Singleton attached to an Antoine Fuqua attached, and both of them leave, and now you go to Benny Boom, who's never directed a feature film before, with the clock running out. Now remember, there was another famous music biopic that tried to go ahead without the music rights to the artist, and that is All Is By My Side from 2013, based on Jimi Hendrix. Who went to go see that movie? You hear that sound? Yeah. Crickets. Nobody went to go see that movie. You've got to have the music rights involved. So, Schnepp, I think you just nailed it completely, what's going to happen here. I think they're going to sign on Benny Boom. I think, now, because I can't say too much about it, but I just met with a producer not too long ago where they were in the exact same situation. They have the rights to this particular property, but there was no way in hell they could get it in production by the time their rights were going to lapse. So they just hired everybody for 3 days to get together. Then they were going to take 6 months off. And then they're going to come back when they were ready. What I think could happen here is they could bring in this dude, Benny Boom, get 3 days of shooting done under Benny Boom, and then they can go out and get the director they want.
Right.
To come in and change that up a bit. So I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. I, however, am going to sell that they'll do it in time. I think that's their goal. I think that's what they're going to try to do. I hope they pull it off, but I got a feeling they're not going to pull it off.
Got a couple weeks.
They have only got a couple of weeks. And then you can't, if you don't meet that deadline, you can't go ahead and make this movie without the actual music. You just can't do it. But I don't know. Can you guys see them doing a Tupac biography with a biopic without using the music?
I could actually see that more so than the Jimi Hendrix movie, which actually came out. Like, there's certain artists that have such an interesting life that you don't need to focus just on the music. And Hendrix had a very interesting life, but you need the music in there with Tupac. I don't think it's as important. There's been movies about the Beatles that have been made where you don't necessarily put the music front and center. I mean, obviously you want the music in there somewhere, but a movie like Backbeat didn't have a lot of Beatles stuff in there. It had some, but you didn't need it to tell that story, and it was still a very interesting film. So you could do it. I just want it done properly.
I think it would be a disservice to Tupac's memory, because a lot of his skill at just freestyling was just getting in there and just freestyling rhymes and just talk rhyming, and that's kind of it. That's his music. And so I wouldn't want to not be able to see that or the creative process of that. Like every time he gets into the recording booth, they cut to something else. That'd be like Godzilla, guys, right? And they cut to something when you want to see that, and then they cut away to a small kid on a couch. That's not the kind of movie that I want to see. I'm not comparing Tupac to Godzilla, but I just did.
I am.
If they do it that way.
I also want to see a Godzilla biopic done right. I mean, we owe that lizard the respect he deserves.
He does deserve some
But do
respect.
you get the music rights to Godzilla? That's the question.
I think Toho Studios has a dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun. That sounds like the Munsters. I'm doing a bad job.
and I
I'm
hear-
firing myself.
I hear Godzuki is available right now.
And
Godzuki. Okay.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.